Exists a tale that pushes the boundaries of morality and sanity. It's a chilling narrative that begins with an innocent schoolboy and spirals into a nightmarish descent into obsession and crime. This is the story of Isai, a young man from Japan whose life became a grotesque exploration of his darkest desires. A tale that forces us to confront unsettling questions about human nature, the consequences of unchecked impulses, and the societal structures that fail to contain them. Isai grew up in an affluent family in Japan, surrounded by luxury and privilege. From the outside, his life seemed perfect. However, beneath the surface lay a sinister curiosity. At a young age, while sitting in the classroom, he experienced an unsettling awakening. One day in the first grade, he found himself captivated by the legs of a classmate. To his horror, he felt an inexplicable urge, a desire to bite into the flesh of a fellow human being. This moment marked a turning point in Isai's life, igniting a series of cannibalistic fantasies that would haunt him for years. As he matured, these thoughts evolved from mere curiosity into a dangerous obsession. Isai increasingly fixated on the idea of consuming people, particularly tall Western women. His fantasies became a constant companion, growing more intense as he transitioned into adulthood. By the age of 24, the weight of these desires bore heavily upon him, leading him to a fateful encounter that would alter the course of his life forever. During a visit to a cafe in Paris, Isai noticed a tall German woman who caught his eye. She embodied everything he had fantasized about, her height and appearance igniting a primal urge within him. In a moment of calculated obsession, he began to follow her, noting her routines and habits. One night, emboldened by his fantasies, he decided to enter her home through an open window while she slept. However, his plans quickly unraveled. As he crept into her apartment, she awoke, sending Isai into a panic. Despite his intentions, he was overpowered and forced to flee, leaving behind a trail of chaos. The woman, traumatized, called the police, leading to Isai's arrest. Though he was charged with assault, his wealthy family's influence enabled them to settle the matter privately, allowing him to escape with a clean record. 4 years later, Isai relocated to Paris to pursue a PhD in literature. Despite his academic aspirations, his cannibalistic urges remained unresolved. Each night, he engaged in a disturbing routine of hiring prostitutes, luring them to his apartment. In these instances, he would point a rifle at them, paralyzed by fear and indecision. The dark fantasies lingered in his mind, yet he couldn't bring himself to act on them. This cycle of torment continued until he met Renee, a kind-hearted student from one of his classes. She was everything he desired, a tall, white woman who seemed innocent and unassuming. Their friendship blossomed, and he invited her over under the pretense of studying together. In a moment of horrifying clarity, Isai prepared to act on his darkest desires. During their study sessions, Isai's internal struggle reached a boiling point. On one occasion, he retrieved his rifle and aimed it at Renee while she was engrossed in her work. To his shock, the gun misfired, a momentary reprieve that only heightened his tension. 2 days later, he invited her again, and this time, the weapon discharged. Renee fell lifeless to the floor, and Isai was overcome with disbelief. In an instant, his fantasies had transformed into a gruesome reality. In his panic, he realized there was no turning back. He contemplated what to do next, grappling with the horrific act he had just committed. Driven by an insatiable urge, he attempted to consume her flesh, but quickly found himself lacking the tools necessary for such a grotesque task. After purchasing a butcher knife, he proceeded to mutilate her body, a chilling act that would seal his fate. With Renee's remains stuffed into suitcases, Isai attempted to dispose of the evidence in a nearby park. However, bystanders noticed the blood seeping from the bags, leading to yet another arrest. This time, the authorities were aware of the gravity of his actions. Isai confessed to the murder, and the media quickly caught wind of the story, sensationalizing his crimes. As Isai awaited trial, his wealthy father secured the best legal defense money could buy. After nearly 2 years in custody, he was deemed legally insane and unfit for trial. The charges were dropped, and he was transferred to a psychiatric facility in Tokyo, where he would remain under observation. Upon his release, Isai faced the daunting reality of reintegrating into society. His past actions loomed large over him, and he struggled to find work. However, an unexpected opportunity arose when a magazine offered him a chance to write about his experiences. Seizing the moment, he turned his dark past into a source of income, gaining notoriety as a minor celebrity in Japan. Isai's writings, including novels and a manga depicting his crimes, captivated readers and raised ethical questions. How could society reconcile the horror of his actions with the allure of his narrative? The very act of sharing his story became a form of exploitation, blurring the lines between victim and perpetrator. Isai's life serves as a haunting reminder of the complex interplay between privilege, mental health, and societal accountability. His ability to evade serious consequences for his actions raises unsettling questions about justice and the effectiveness of our systems in addressing such profound issues. Despite his infamy, Isai eventually faded from public consciousness, passing away at the age of 73 from pneumonia. His story, however, remains etched in the annals of crime, a cautionary tale of unchecked obsession and the depths of human depravity. Isai's journey from a privileged schoolboy to a notorious criminal is both chilling and thought-provoking. It forces us to confront the darker aspects of human nature and the societal structures that can fail to contain them. As we reflect on his story, we must ask ourselves, what leads someone down such a dark path? And how can we, as a society, recognize and address these troubling impulses before they manifest into unspeakable acts? Ultimately, Isai's narrative is not just about crime. It is a profound exploration of the human psyche, the consequences of obsession, and the moral complexities of our existence. As we delve into the darkness, we are reminded that sometimes the most terrifying monsters lie not in the shadows, but within ourselves.